do recover. So obviously there's no days off for me. So it doesn't matter. If I'm sick, not sick, I got to go to work. I got to do my day. I got to be responsible for what's going on. So what I do to get better. So this is where Titan immunity therapies really come into play. And I don't do them as much, maybe I should, I guess. I do them here or there. Like I do glutathione, periodically. But I really haven't really went gung ho where I'm doing it every single day. When I'm sick, that's when I do glutathione or Triimmune every single day, right? And I'll also add in thymosin alpha 1. Now, thymosin alpha 1, I'm going to start adding in per my week, maybe once or twice per week, just a maintenance dose to build my immune system, keep it fortified. I rarely get sick. Hopefully I don't get sick again. But at that point, listen, I'm human, I'm superhuman, but I'm human to some form where, I guess it is what it is. Yeah, I ran myself down and went around somebody or touched something in the gym. Maybe I didn't wash my hands right away, and maybe I caught some of the grimy bugs that are out there. And for me, Peter was sick, so he's around me. He's touching everything in the house. It's kind of hard to, not touch things after him or be around him. So at that point, germs can spread like that too as well. I don't know how I got sick, but it is what it is. How am I going to get better? Titan immunity, right? With our Triimmune or glutathione, and then thymosin alpha 1. Those were the big ones for me. Add it onto my regimen, right? So NAD's in there. I like to take my immunotherapy still. I take my Titan Complete. So I just want to make sure that I'm good to go. A lot of people, when they get sick, they stop what they're doing. I'm just going to stop everything. I'm just you don't want to do that either. You want to give your body every fighting chance to get rid of whatever's in your system out. I had to go on antibiotics, so I was on Augmentin. I'm still on Augmentin. I got maybe a couple more days left of that. But yeah, that's how I literally got rid of the sickness. I'm getting better over the sickness, I guess.
I love it. Side note, he did say antibiotics. And just if you don't know this, no doctor tells you this. If you're on antibiotics at that period of time, make sure that you lift lighter than you normally go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Antibiotics actually dry out your ligaments.
Yep.
And this is something that's never said to the doctor, to an athlete. And it should be. It should be.
Can you turn this up a little bit for me?
So
yeah, that's a great point. You should definitely, like I mentioned, I really don't have those issues, but there is a warning on those. And on antibiotics especially, there are definitely some bad joint, warnings on there, which is, it kind of scares people. I know somebody was like, man, this says my joints are just going to, I'm like, listen, I was like, as long as you're laying around and resting, I was like, you're not going to have any problems. I was like, you go gung ho in there, you're going to have you might have some problems. It is what it is. And some antibiotics, that's what they do. They dry you out, right? And they get rid of all the bacteria in your stomach. Good bacteria, bad bacteria. Some are like nuclear bombs and just take out everything. So at that point, you need to eat good food, get your vitamin C in. There's certain fruits that do help, like pineapple. That's a good one if you have a cough or anything like that. There's certain things that are in there that can help.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, that they get the benefit later on. They get the recycled pineapple later on from the tap.
That's, again, another side note that you wouldn't pick up at other places, but just FYI, guys.
Yes, sir. One. Yes, sir.
We have a lot of questions today, and so I wanted to get, if that's all right, to jump in and then finish up with the treatment of the week and everything that's going over at Titan Medical. But
yeah,
we had some ones that I can't answer, and here's one of them right here.
Thoughts on kombucha? So kombucha or kabuta, whatever it is, the girls drink it in the office. My thoughts on it, I'm not into it. I don't know if there's big health benefits into it. I haven't researched kombucha very much, or kombucha or whatever it's called. But I know you could get it at these these little places down the street, right? You can get these. You can get the acai bowls. You can get some different things like that, the boba teas and all that. I'm just not into that. That'd be more of a question for my staff. I know there's some alcohol in kombucha though. So I don't know. It's not a lot to get. It's going to get you drunk or make you feel different. But at that point, I know there's a little bit in there. So I'm not a big guy on it.
Jeffrey, what do you got for us on that?
Kombucha, it's just fermented, lightly effervescent, sweetened black tea. So it's tea alcohol.
And what
crazy.
and the point of it is calming? Is that what just calming? Because isn't most tea calming?
I mean, tea could be a stimulant too, because it could have caffeine in it.
Digestive health.
Digestive. Okay, there we go. We go back to
digestive.
That's why they're doing it.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, listen, if you're getting a better gut, as far as that goes, your bowels are regular, using it, then more power to you.
Well, I got a hiccup with that. If we're supporting everything and nothing is working on its own, or you give it time to work on its own, then how are we, and especially how are we going to function when we do get older? It's like, that's the thing. I hear this annoying, sorry everybody, I hear this absolutely annoying thing about gut health and digestion and all of this, and I'm seeing these 20 and 30-year-olds cry about this, and I'm just,
it is weird.
Holy shish. If you are at that, and I understand there's a small percentage, but not all of you are dealing with this stuff. And so you're sitting out there going, yeah, this is something I'm going to need to do as baby in your 20 or 30. It's like, great. What are you going to be when you're 40 and 50 and going through menopause, or you're a guy with lower T when he's 50? Or it's like, how is that body going to be functioning at that time? You can hit that. You don't like me saying that, Johnny? You let me know. Tell me your thoughts.
No, I love it. Now, honestly, what you're saying is fact. I mean, I've never taken anything as far as digestive enzymes or anything that's going to break down things in my stomach. Are there higher rates of IBS out there and some different things that might, be irritating to the bowels? Yes, but that has to do with bad diet, right? And not putting the right things in your body. I mean, I truly believe that. I believe that if people had a really, really good diet, then I don't think they'd have the stomach issues that they have nowadays. I think that that's all done because of what they're intaking. I don't really believe that everybody needs digestive enzymes or anything like that to break down things in their stomach. I really don't. I think that, your body should be able to work by itself. I mean, what the hell was it doing before we had these things? I mean, people weren't complaining about gut health back in the 80s or 90s. I don't remember that like a big thing. So I remember constipation, and that's a whole different story, right? Like if you're constipated and you're bloating, that's something that's totally different than being able to break down things in your stomach properly that's good for you.
Yeah, I think let's take the middle road for me. Let's say, okay, you're not digesting right now and your gut health is a little, you're finding something is up. Okay, then use something that does help you for a moment, but try to wing yourself off of it and build up again. But don't jump on it and stay on it.
Right.
That's my recommendation. Again, if you're babying yourself in your 20s and 30s, I can't fathom what you're going to be in your 40s and 50s and 60s. And I'm hoping that y'all have that kind of life, that you're still here at that stage, and my goal is to use up what I am given. And so at some point I probably won't be able to lift again, but I'm using my shit up. I'm pushing this all the way, but yeah, set yourself up to win. So that's my 2 cents. And I know that it started off this tea, but
man, in the 20s and 30s, I mean, I could eat anything I wanted. No problem.
And still moving.
And not sleep and still have no problems. So as you get older is when things start breaking down, you better start taking care of things. So anything that you're doing in your 20s and 30s, I mean, if you're doing a whole bunch of stuff in your 20s and 30s, God bless you. Because at that point, when you're in your 40s and 50s or older, you're going to have to do all that plus a lot more just to be regular or be normal, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I always go by, least amount, best result, right?
Throw a picture of Orozco up there. Get a picture, because I'm going to jump forward just for a second. It's same discussion we're having, guys, but it's all aspects. It's lifting, it's nutrition, it's how well you party and enjoy in life. These are all great things. These are all good things. But again, there should be, in my opinion, I'm going to be a savage in my 20s and 30s, but I also want to save some mileage for later on in life so you can still do it. And I don't want you guys taking some bodybuilders and going, well, yeah, look how destroyed they are. Everybody has their things. Everybody has that one individual and stuff, but don't do that. Just as a mass, a majority of you guys, be on point if you can in your 20s and 30s, but save some room to where you can still move and groove as you get older.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you let me know when you got that picture up. We all have that one individual that can diet a certain way, that trains a certain way. Heath Evans can eat donuts for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and is an absolute phenomenon. So I won't take him as an example of what you guys can do and live. Now, see, this is my guy, Steve. Phenomenal. Now, again, he's 44 years old, looks like this. He's an absolute savage, D1 wrestler, MMA fighter. Eats once a day, every other day, and then he fasts.
Wow.
Now, would that get you like this? No, I think of him as an outlier. He's a one individual. But if everybody goes over and watches his page, or somebody like a Heath Evan and watches their page and assume that, oh, I can do this, you're setting yourself up to fail. He eats once a day. How is he going to be in shape when he's 55? Now, he could probably do it. Right. He's that one individual that's a phenomenon. But don't assume that you're out there and you're just like him. And you can go, well, you know what? I'm going to try that diet. One meal a day, every other day I fast. It gives you no option later in life. I could not do that. In no world. I would fade away to nothing. And I wouldn't be pleasant to be around. I'm not pleasant to be around right now. And I can't fathom what it's like eating that little.
Yeah, I don't know about that. God bless him, man.
But how you eat sets you up for room later on in life.
Yeah.
You take
I believe so.
You do high protein, you get enough that it's not just muscle mass, but calorie intake. And then you have a moderate amount of carbohydrates that if you ever decide, I'm going to slice and dice, well, you can drop the protein down a little bit and pull out your carbs. Boom, you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's just, you've given yourself and your body options to get better.
I think setting yourself up with a good foundation too. Obviously, like, he wasn't born like that either. Like, with his build, the muscle that he put on, this is hard training. This is dedication to what he wants to do, his craft. And at that point, he's already got the foundation set up. He's already got the muscle built. And now he can do this, right? To a certain extent. I mean, some people might lose muscle over time, not being able to eat like they need to, and like he's eating. But at that point, like, he's got a good base. I mean, you can't just start off and be like, all right, well, I'm just going to start dropping carbs and doing this. And like, it just doesn't work like that, you know? But I think that once you get to a certain point and then you're old enough, right? Like in your 40s or 50s, maybe in your late 30s, you know, you can start playing around with it. And once you know your body, you can start manipulating your body. That's the awesome thing. That is the ultimate control that everybody wants. And unless you went down that path and you know how to do it, and you're like, all right, man, I can do this, no problem. Like me now, I know exactly the formula, how my body works and what I can do to really cut it up. Or if I need to build and put on for a little bit, then I can do that too as well. So there's no ending point. And it's always, you know, what are you trying to do? What do you want to do today? What do you want to do next week? And what do you want to do next month? What do you got coming up? And Mike knows, because I mean, he gets ready for movies. He gets ready for these in-person expos, right? So he's doing all types of different things, and he's manipulating his body in every way, shape, or form, which is really cool. And I think everybody wants to learn that secret, but you know, before you learn the secret, you got to put in the work to like discover what it is. I guess it's not like something you just come up with. It's like doing homework. You know, you're writing out the problems. You finally got the formula. You're like, oh, this is it. Done. I got it right.
He's knocking it out of the park. I'm starving. Any tips on? Okay, here's a good one.
I'm starving. Any tips on repressing hunger? All right. So obviously you want to eat dense proteins. That's one thing. And then water can definitely make you feel full. I guess you want to make sure yourself is feeling full. So those would be the two things. Obviously, listen, there's medications that can help repress hunger, right? Depending on who you are, what you're trying to do. GLP-1s are good for this. Tesofenzine's good for this. So there's a couple different ones out there that you can utilize from Titan Medical Center that can help you repress hunger. But naturally, I mean, you're going to want to eat dense proteins. You're going to want to drink water, and try to stay away from things that are going to, fuel the appetite. Sugar is one. You start eating sugar, you want to eat more sugar. Carbs can be a part of that. If they're really bad carbs, eat French fries, eat a whole bunch of French fries, don't stop. Pringles chips. Once you pop, you can't stop. That saying is so true. Pop, and you just go through the whole barrel. I used to go through rows of those things.
Not hanging out with people like Bobo that eat bad, and always have pizza around and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, you take away all the bad stuff in your house and you're only there, then you only have those options. As long as you don't order Uber Eats or anything like that, then that's all it is. And you'll force yourself to eat good. Like even me, like now I've went to at night, like I would eat like something like high calorie along with the protein shake, just try to get the calories in. And at that point now I'm starting to eat like a bag of carrots and a protein shake. I'll add in some celery at the end of the night. Maybe that'll be fulfilling too as well.
Are these the small carrots?
So yeah, so they have the carrot sticks you can get, and I'll get those, and I'll get the little cut celery sticks, and I'll eat both of those at night, and that'll fill you up. Eat enough of them, I guarantee it fills you up. Especially drinking a protein shake right along with it.
Side note: if you get the little ones, watch your pups; they love them, and it's good for them. Just side note: I do that with our girls. We'll give them a little
awesome.
Carrot, yeah. Dog owners, it's good for your dog.
Super good.
That's a great one. Also, before we jump off this, let's go the other side of this. Just for everybody that maybe you're not dieting, maybe you're not this deficit like I talked about. Maybe you need to get hungry. Well, Titan Medical also has those kind of things.
Oh yes,
to help you so you can put on the size. If you're you hear the guy say, I got a fast metabolism, I need to eat more.
Yep.
Go with it.
MK677 for sure. Ibutamoren is an oral capsule that we have. And I've got Jimmy Mentis on it right now. So Jimmy Mentis is getting ready for the Masters O, right? So we're putting together a program for him. He's like, John, he's like, I can barely get through 4 meals. I'm like, I got you 1,000,000%. So we sent him out some MK677. I checked with him the other day. He's come down here Thursday. I'm like, how's it going? He's like, I can't stop eating now. I'm like, that's great. So if you're really trying to put on the weight, and there's a lot of people that are in that situation. More people are into losing weight right now and need to lose weight, but there are a lot of people out there that want to gain weight too, especially. And this is a fantastic way to do it. It's raising IGF-1 levels. It's stimulating the G-REL and the hunger hormone in the body too as well, giving you ultimate recovery, giving you anti-aging, and giving you that stimulation of the hunger that you need to get those calories in. Because that's the only way you're going to really build muscle or really change the body if that's what you're really trying to do. If you're trying to do that, you got to get the calories in, and you want to get the good calories in.
Proper spelling of Jimmy Mentis' last name. M-E-N, right?
M-E-N-T-I-S.
This guy, man, we call it one of the pretty boys. Yeah, that's Jimmy. Look at that stuff.
Jimmy. And Jimmy's like 270 right now.
Get that shot.
He don't look as short as you, but he's pretty big.
Look at that.
He's 59 too. So I mean, dude's old.
Pretty. It was just a different body back. Find some black and whites. Go down to some covers there too. But that's the thing. Oh, hit the one right next to it on the right. The cover. Yeah, hit that cover. That's just a stud. But another one of these guys that was the 80s with me and the 90s with me, we
Yep.
back and forth with covers. Also, just a mindset, and one of those guys that appreciates where he's at, and he's still healthy. And listen, he's 59. He's going to be 60.
Yep.
He's still healthy enough body wise that he's going to get on the Masters Mr. Olympia stage.
Yep. Yep.
Come on. It was a different entity. My guys, man, we're still grooving, we're still grooving, and he, yeah. So just if you guys are out there and you're 30 and you think you're done, you're not even done. You're halfway.
Yeah.
Come on, get your butt moving again. And again, I love the fact that we have. I shot with him the same day I was at that location, and it was a per Bernal photo shoot, and I shot, and that's Shannon O'Brien. Yeah. Shannon O'Brien. I can tell you about Shannon. Moden's not here. Jimmy shot with her. I did other things with her.
I'm sure. Totally different time though, but you look at those guys' physiques.
Yeah. I got paid.
Your guys' physiques back in the 80s, 90s were the best. They were the best. How long should you work out as a 15-year-old? I mean, you should be putting in those times. It's just like anybody else, though. You should be setting yourself up, getting a routine into play and training. I mean, 3 on, 1 day off, whatever you want to do there. Go every day except for weekends. I mean,
yeah, but you're 15.
When you're young like that.
15. He's 15. That kid is a savage. I fully understand, man. We train 3-4 hours a day easily.
For real?
Yeah.
That's when you could train your ass off and train the lights out.
I was powerlifting, and so we would squat for 2 hours before doing anything. We'd just squat for 2 hours. At that stage, I just won the Washington State. I won it 3 years in a row as a teenager. And you squat for 2 hours, and we still kind of do that now. Yeah. I just don't do as much secondary work. So you're 15, and I know that you have no off button, I guess you would say. Just do the best you can to stay on a program. And this is, Johnny's right. I know that we can train that long, but I don't think we should. So, yeah, that's the best advice I can give you is do the program, find a program for a 15-year-old and start trying to do the very best you can without being psycho like me. So, yeah, come on, Johnny. You know that you would go out and play baseball and you wouldn't stop until that.
I wouldn't stop.
Throwing it. And so
I was a multi-sport athlete. So one way or the other, I was playing all day long, whether it was basketball or baseball, football, didn't matter. At that point I was playing, and, later on it was soccer. So at that point, like you got to put 1,000,000%, and you want to, it's fun back then. Like, it's fun. Like, it wasn't like a chore. It wasn't like training. Like people like, oh, I got to go to the gym or I got to go do this. Like, no, hell no. You're like, hell, let's go play. And then you did pickup games and all that.
You played, because you have an older brother, you would play with him and his friends relative to the guys just your age. And so you're playing with better athletes, bigger sized and stuff. And so
9.5 years older. So when I used to play hockey with those guys on the pond, I'm telling you, there was days where I got my nose split, like bleeding everywhere. And at that point, like, it is what it is. It makes you tougher. I think you got an older brother and you play with your older brother and his friends, they're going to rough you up for sure. That just is what it is. And back then, hazing and roughing them up. And so that's what it was. So, I mean, I think it gives you an edge. And I think it gives you it makes you stronger mentally too, as well. I see a lot of guys or even these kids, right? Like Peter, I'm like, you're a sophomore, right? And there's seniors that you're playing against. And I don't know if he feels a little intimidated by those seniors or not. But if you do grow up like that and you have these older people around you, I was never intimidated by those older guys at all, later on especially, because I was like, all right, I already had to deal with guys who were 9 years older than me and was three times my size. So at that point, I think, listen, if you're playing any sport or you're trying to get better at anything, you always go compete with the better person. That better person is going to make you better. If you go and play or you go and learn from somebody that's not that good, right? Or you can just run all over, it's not going to do you any good. You get the real experience by playing or learning from somebody that's been doing it, has way more experience than you. And that's really where you pick up those like, I don't know, man, those are like little gold nuggets, man, in life. You really do. You start adding them to your repertoire and you start going forward with it. Super cool.
So this is Commander Jocko. You guys know him as a Navy SEAL and stuff. And I was with him weekend, and we were talking about training and rolling and stuff. And the one thing that we both agreed on is that for his kids, he had his kids going against the older kids and the bigger kids. And again, I absolutely agree. Titan competed against a 10-year-old this weekend, and he just turned 6. So that stuff. And so for this 15-year-old or anybody that's in the chat, I recommend going to the gym, like Johnny said, finding that guy that's in much better shape than you, or woman that's in much better shape, and seeing if you can't train with them. That's going to raise you up, get you out of this today's society of just doing mediocre. Mediocre
Absolutely.
is a killer. Comfort is a killer.
I believe in that for sure. What was the most demanding aspect of your lifestyle over the years to maintain? Wow.
That's a great question. I'm not a compromising person. So I don't think I didn't have one. I eat the way I eat. I train priority. I go to bed when I need to go to bed. So it fits or it doesn't fit. I don't force.
I mean, demanding aspect. I mean, listen, there's a lot of demanding aspects when you have a family. You got your kid, you got your wife, you got your job, then you got your body, right? So at that point, you got to make sure there's priorities there. We talked about this last week where priority was for me, listen, I got to get my training in. That was one thing I told my wife right away before we got married, before we had a kid, the whole nine. But, you know, at that point, they're still demanding. I mean, you still got to be there no matter what, thick or thin. And then you got to be there for your business if that's what it is, or your job, whatever it is, because these are demanding from you. These are demanding aspects of your life. And I guess, you know, having these things go, I mean, it's hard to balance for some people, or some people give the excuse of they can't do one thing because they've got the other. But at that point, like, you gotta, I guess, be a master of time management. Time management, I believe, is key, because everybody has the exact same amount of time in a day. And at that point, like, I know people that don't work all day, right? They go to the gym all day long, but they told me they don't got time for certain things. I'm like, how the hell don't you have time for anything? You're not working a job. You're going to train, yes. You're eating, yes. But what else you doing, right? Like, why aren't you getting these other things in? Why can't you obtain this other thing? And I see a lot of bodybuilders out there to tell me the exact same thing, right? I can't work a 9 to 5. I'm like, bullshit. I'm like, look at Ronnie Coleman. That dude was a cop and training for Mr. Olympia. Maybe not the whole time, but in the beginning for sure, right? Like, there's a ton of people out there that I know that can maintain and balance some different functions. They might not have a full spectrum of what other people have, but they might have the 3 key elements. That's family, their body, their training. So at that point, like, you know, their job, you know, I guess that's the other aspect, but they have those things and they balance those things. I think if you want it bad enough, then you can divide the time to want to do it.
For this person that asked the question, change the word demanding to necessary. I think if you change that word and use that in your mind more often, you'll kind of see the successful person. What's the most necessary things for you to do? Well, you got to take care of your health.
Right.
It's not a demanding thing. You got to take care of your family.
Yep.
You've got to work. These are necessary things, not demanding things. This is just what goes with it. I think demanding to me seems like a woke word compared to necessary is I've got to eat the meals. I've got to train. I've got to do these things. And it's
Yeah.
necessary for me to do that to enjoy this life I live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just do that. I would just change the word.
Yeah.
Because
Necessary. What's necessary aspect of lifestyle over the years to maintain? Yeah. That
Yeah.
does sound a lot better for sure.
Right. It changes the whole thing.
Definitely does. And you got to do those things. Any tips for an almost 50-year-old dude going from a long cut to bulking? Last time I did it, I got too fluffy.
Oh,
All right. Well,
That's
50
easy.
years old, have you done blood work? That's the first thing. I want to make sure your blood is right, levels are right, right? And if you've come from a long cut and you're going to go to bulking, you got to make sure that you're moving the calories progressively and not going from like 2,000 to 5,000 calories in a day. At that point, knowing your body's going to start responding to the calories that you're putting in for the bulk. I mean, that's what I do anyway. I just go up a little bit at a time, see how my body's responding. And you got to remember, if you've been on such a long cut for such a long time, then hopefully you're really lean. And what happens when you start adding some of these calories in? You're not going to be as lean as you were before. So when you look in the mirror, don't get scared and be like, oh, I better start cutting again. I know people like after a week, they're like, man, I'm like, oh man, like I don't look good. I look really fluffy or I look too big. I'm like, well, at that point, like, it's something that you do over time, and it's something that doesn't happen overnight.
You damaged your body, my friend. Anybody here, when you read this again, you diet for 8 to 12 weeks. Why do you diet for 8 to 12 weeks? Well, because your body's still healthy and it's utilizing the low calories and not damaging itself and not trying to protect itself still. So one of the first things he's talking about is that he dieted for way too long. So he got to the point that if you diet for too long, your body shuts down. And so now he can't get leaner. His body is shut down, even though he's hypothetically saying he's at 1,000 calories. His body is surviving off of that and going, listen, I'm just going to continue to eat the fat, the muscle, and store the fat because you've treated me so poorly. This is why a program must be in place. And now what the harsh reality is when he reverses out now from this long cut, no matter if he goes to 1,100 calories or 1,200 calories, again, using metaphorically the 1,000 calories or a number, he's automatically going to gain and be fluff because he went too long one way. So again, treat your body correctly. That's why you set up on a program. You just don't go, hey, today I'm going to diet for the whole year kind of a thing. You don't do that. Weightlifting and exercise and nutrition is amazing if done correctly. If done incorrectly, you damage your body. You damage your metabolism. You damage your joints. Don't be this way. And so, and especially again, he's 50 now. So there might be a chance his body's not functioning as well. So get the blood work done, like Johnny said.
Absolutely.
Pick and choose. Pick and choose. I'm going to go diet for 12 weeks or 8 weeks, and then I'm going to go off season for a period of time.
There might be some different ways to wake up the metabolism. You might be at a point where you could possibly use some of the therapies like MOTS-C or something like that, where it does boost metabolism and starts revving again. You know, I mean, it's something that, like Mike said, like if you've done it for a long time, you definitely can put some damage to the body. And that's like anything else. You run testosterone alone for too long, it's going to be hard to ignite the testicles to reboot back up to give you some sort of natural reading or to even up your sperm count. Even with the pituitary. I just talked to a guy yesterday. Guy's early 40s. I guess he's 40, 41. Personal guy I know. Called me up. He's had 3 IGF-1 readings, and his IGF-1 is at a 50 and a 42 and a 55.
Wow.
Right?
It's done.
Done. And I'm talking about this guy's, he's tried some multiple things. So at this point, like, for him, he's clinically deficient on 3 different readings. And he's been abusing growth hormone for a long time. So at this point, he stopped the growth hormone And he's like, well, I want to get my natural pituitary functioning again. So I'm like, man, this is going to be a step. So right now we're in the process to try to reboot his pituitary to work a little bit, to even get him mid-road, not even high. So at that point, I'll let you know how it goes. But like when you start doing things for so long, your body starts depending on that. Another one is melatonin. A lot of people use melatonin out the yin yang. Melatonin is a hormone. Melatonin is a hormone that when it gets dark, your body starts getting tired. And people are starting to use melatonin on a daily basis. Do I think melatonin could be used here or there? Maybe. Yeah, not a problem. But do you use it constantly, day after day after day? Your body's going to build up a tolerance, a desensitization of this. And at that point, it's not going to work. And then you're going to have really problems sleeping. So don't abuse things. Don't think that you have to take things forever on some cases. Some things you possibly could, but some things you're going to cause some damage and it might be irreversible.
Why would anyone over 50 think bulking is a good idea? Get things stay healthy. Well, I'm sorry. That made no sense to me.
Hans, I'm going to tell you right now why somebody should be bulking in their 50s. Because their 50s, it's harder to put on lean muscle tissue. It's a good idea to put on as much lean muscle tissue as possible. And let me tell you why. Because when you get sick or you get cancer or any of these different things, the thing that will save your ass is having the most muscles possible. And more muscle is going to mean that you're going to burn more fat in the body too as well. So we were talking about the one guy, Don't Die. You know, he's great, right? He looks a little bit younger, but he doesn't look like what I want to look like. Mike was right on that. He looks sick. I don't know what to say. I looked at him again because he's doing a little thing in our area. And I'm like, I don't want to look like this. So you don't want to just be lean. You can be healthy and still bulk. It doesn't mean that you're eating a whole bunch of fast food and just getting 6,000, 10,000 calories in and I'm going to bulk up like that. You're trying to put on some more lean mass. I think that's a better way to say bulking than just putting on a bulk. Like, because I guess people take bulk in a different way, shape, or form. I put bulking as put on lean mass. Some people think, well, I'm just going to put on a whole bunch of weight. So what is it? What is your definition of bulking, I guess? And then, like I said, it's always a good idea to put as much muscle on you as possible. And you're not going to look like Mike. You're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're not going to look like those guys ever in your life. I don't care what you take. I don't care what you do, right? I'm not going to look like that. But can I look good? Can I feel good and have a lot of muscle on me or lean mass? Absolutely.
So, again, what we have to do is take in consideration the individual. Jeff put up a great one yesterday. He says, people can only meet you at the level they're at. So this individual's comprehension of health is that leanness is health, which, again, we already know that that's not true. So that's, first of all, out. So this guy's understanding is that if he sees someone that visually looks good, that person's healthy, which is the dumbest thing in the world. That's not how life works. That's not how the body works. So again, I understand his point of view because I know these kind of guys. I know the kind of guy that says, well, as long as you look good, then you're healthy, which, again, you must be young if you haven't comprehend that's not how life works. So again, Johnny made a great point. The number one study that shows a person survives an illness as he gets older is muscle mass. That's it. Well, is it the finance or this or that or what? It's muscle mass. No. You have a better chance of surviving something like cancer or disease if you have more muscle mass. And so absolutely. The point is, again, the guy that is bulky, which, again, bulky just means that you're at 10 to 12%. It doesn't mean that you're a fat slob. Right. It doesn't mean that you're at 3% body fat walking around ready for a show. It means you're at 10 to 12%. You're in a surplus of calories. These are all the best ways to understand if you are healthy and your body's functioning well. So for a 50-year-old, which most of the successful guys that I know are all around that range, surplus of calories, have a good 10 to 12% body fat, lift heavy, are healthy. And again, the lame 40-hour work week in no world. Usually it's about an 80-hour work week. for us that work for ourselves. So
That's right.
that is healthy. So to answer the guy before, I like that he's going to go off season. He's dieted too long. Great job on this. And then for this guy, good luck. Good luck. Your comprehension is, yeah.
Trust me. Put on as much lean muscle tissue as you possibly can. Over time, you're going to be happy you did. 1,000,000%. Tips for someone with bad knees. I got damage to the meniscus and both knees. Was offered surgery. Would rather find a way to fix naturally, but there's a lot of pain. Baby, don't hurt me. So with this, I mean, listen, BPC 157 and TB 500, along with maybe a GHRH peptide, a growth hormone releasing hormone peptide like CJC, hexarelin, tesamorelin, IGF-1, that's going to be the best possible thing for you to heal, especially meniscus. Knees don't feel good, and you got to walk, and you got to use those knees. So at that point, you're going to want to try to heal those things as best as possible because you're only going to have pain every time that you walk if you don't. So if you really want to try to expedite things without getting surgery, that would be the recommendation for me.
If a doctor told you surgery, get surgery. Right? Yeah, this isn't a debate. If you're in pain and a surgeon can scope it, the knee surgery is so simple nowadays. They go in, you're out, you're done, you're walking out of the place. You're fine. Do some PRP a week later or stem cell a week later. And then the whole time going into the process and coming out, Johnny crushed it with the BPC and the 2500, again with the maybe MK at night. But yeah, baby, I'm not going to hurt you, but you're hurting yourself. This isn't I'm a badass because you don't get surgery. The surgeries, those knee surgeries they're holy cow. These guys are masters at their craft.
Some are.
Get a good one. Obviously anything and everything, but
yeah. You're gonna have good and bad. Just make sure you research and go to somebody that's credible.
My buddy, he just got his knee done, and he was in and out squatting in a week.
Wow.
Yeah, done.
Yikes.
The scope was a half an hour process, and he was done, out, walked out. He was squatting in a week. So it's like,
wow.
Yeah. And again, nobody wants to live in pain. Nobody wants to live in pain because that truly is the baby is hurting more.
Yeah.
Except for emotional pain. I don't mind that.
Yeah. What is your sleep routine like? Do you wear or measurable or go on feel? Do you do for a certain amount of REM and deep? Thank you both. Me and Mike both do this. We track our sleep like crazy. Sleep routine, you're going to want to get, and listen, I need to get better on my sleep routine because, I've tried where I try to go to bed at a certain time every time at night and wake up the exact same time in the morning. If you get on that routine, you're best off by doing that. Getting REM and deep sleep, obviously, that's the most beneficial way that you're going to get out of sleep. How do I measure mine? I measure mine through my bed. So I have a bed that actually measures the quality of air. It measures how long I sleep. It measures the deep sleep, the REM sleep. It asks me if I had activity that day, what I ate that day. It really goes pretty deep as far as that goes. And I'll look at it and I'll see it the next day and I'm like, damn, I didn't get too good of sleep last night and I feel it like that. Or I got really good sleep last night. I feel amazing. So that's one way I measure mine. I know Mike has one of those things that goes on his wrist that measures his, and super cool. I definitely think that you should measure it for sure, 1,000,000%. What do you want to aim for REM sleep and deep sleep? REM sleep, you want to try to get at least 2 hours of, and you might sound like, that's not that much. If you can get 2 hours of REM sleep, you're doing pretty good. There's only a certain amount of times where I've got over 2 hours of REM sleep, and I've been tracking this for like 2 years. And I get a quality score of my sleep too as well. So when I wake up the next day, I was like, you got a 79. I'm like, man, I got a C on my sleep last night. But if I'm in the 80s or the 90s, I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. and it reflects the way that I feel to that day. So it's not like garbage or bull. Like it knows when I wake up, it knows when I go to sleep. It's so crazy how it does. It's got this AI tracker in it, which is nuts.
And do you see those scores go up when you're taking certain peptides?
So yes. So
Like,
when I take Serenity, Titan Serenity is one that I take, which is magnesium, taurine, and L-theanine. I do see a bump in my sleep patterns. I do. On if I took like MK or like a GHRH, I'll also see a bump in my sleep patterns too as well. So, you know, I'm taking some of these, I'm changing off here or there, just trying to figure out what's going to work best there. But usually Titan Serenity is one of the best. But the other ones would be GHRHs, MK, Hexarelin, CJC, IGF. Like these are pretty good ones to help you get into better sleep patterns too as well.
I got this Whoop, I guess it's called. Yeah. I try to get to bed at 8, and then I try to rise when I rise, and then I do keep track of the sleep. But I notice that these kind of whoops and all that kind of stuff, I don't got that kind of bed like Johnny has. That's for next Christmas. But I noticed that this plays tricks on my mind. And so I do keep a moderate appreciation for it, and it tells me certain things, but I mean, there's days I'll wake up and it says you're 20% recovered, and I feel like an absolute beast. And then there's days I wake up and it says you're 100% recovered, and I feel absolutely destroyed.
Really?
Yeah. So, and the research on these it's moderate. So don't take it for this isn't 100%.
Right.
I do notice Titan Serenity helps my sleep. MK helps my sleep. Crazy ass dreams, but helps my sleep. So I do recommend Titan Serenity. I do recommend magnesium, and try to get those things there. And the one thing, I guess, it was asked a couple weeks back, what would I wish I have done differently? I wish I would have appreciated sleep in my teens and 20s.
Me too.
Yeah.
That was one regret. I wish I had a little bit more focus on sleep. Obviously, I knew sleep was important back then, but not as much as I do today. That was like a big wake-up call for me.
Yeah.
John, if you could only take one peptide, which one would you choose from all of them and why? This is so hard, guys. It's so hard of a question to ask me because I take multiple peptides and I was like, I don't know what I'd do without some of these peptides. I mean, if I had to do one peptide or keep one peptide out of everything, I'd have to say BPC. The only reason is because my shoulder's the way it is. I can recover. Because most of the other things I could do, I guess, with some of the different therapies that are not peptides.
That's a good point.
But yeah, I think BPC would be one of my ultimate best. Like as far as just helping me recover, helping with my shoulder. Like if I had a perfect body, it might be different. Who knows? But I would
then
say
it'd
BPC
be
would
an
my
MK or something, right? It'd be something.
It would probably be testosterone.
Yeah, testosterone.
Because I'm raising GH levels,
Yeah.
anti-aging. I'm attacking visceral belly fat when I'm doing that. Like that is like the main boss right now. Like if I had to say like, what's the main boss?
Belly fat?
Like that's
Johnny,
the main boss.
Johnny, you got no belly fat, so I don't know what you're talking
I got belly fat.
You don't got belly fat. You got a 12-pack. Stop that. Stop.
I'm trying to be as lean as possible, Mike. As big as possible and as lean as possible. All right. I'm a professional pilot, and any thoughts on training, recovery while having constant changes with time zones, working hours? It's tough. Listen, I know about this. I don't know about changing different time zones all the time like pilots do, but working hours are working hours. So, I mean, for me, like I'm working all the time. So I have to adapt and be like, all right, cool. Like, I'm ready to go train right now. Let me go train right now. So you kind of have to adapt to whatever the surroundings are. What I would say for you is this, because I don't have a Mac Daddy complete schedule where I'm like, I'm flying out this time. I'll get here at this time. Now I'm going to check in the hotel. If I had a schedule like that, I would pre-plan maybe a week or two in advance. Know what your schedule is and start focusing on what you need to do. It's like anything else. You need to eat, so you better plan your meals. You need to train, so start planning your training. If you're like, all right, cool, well, I'm going to fly from America to China. It's going to take me, I don't know, America to London. It's going to take me 12 and a half hours to get there. Awesome. I know that when I get there, I could probably rest an hour if I'm tired, get up, go train, eat, and do those things. So at that point, like, you're going to have to adapt to whatever your schedule is. It's tough, right? Especially if you have a schedule that keeps changing. But if you have a secure schedule, I mean, it's a lot easier. But I would plan. I would plan to where you're going to go, because it's not like you get a call at like 3 p.m. and you're like, you're flying out tonight at 11 p.m. Get your bags ready and go. You're not like that. I mean, I would say probably not, unless you're getting paid a lot of money, and then you could probably be on call 24/7. But at that point, you know your schedule, or you're going to know your updated schedule, plan around the schedule. It'd be like anybody else. If somebody told me, listen, I work at retail and my schedule always changes. Well, that's cool, but you get that changed schedule and then you plan around the schedule. It's like a cop. The cop gets changing shifts. They might have a day shift when they start, and then they have to go to a night shift. Now their schedule is completely changed. The time is completely changed. They're going from a day shift to a night shift, and they have to start retraining their body, one, to get into a sleep pattern. And then once in the sleep pattern, then you start playing around when you're going to eat, when you're going to train, and all these different things.
Try to get over to cargo. Try to get away from the. Try to get our boy, Arnold's guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger's guy, man. The cargoes, they get on there, they hit it, they got their rooms, they go back and go to sleep for the next 8 hours.
Yeah.
But everything else Johnny said is yeah, it's, you got somewhat of a understanding. Food for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. If you work for Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's like, let's go, you're going to go, I guess.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But you're getting paid too. You're getting paid some good money. So you adapt around what you got to do what you got to do.
I don't know much about know pilots and their schedules and how far in advance do they know and stuff like that. But I do know
they get an advanced schedule. There's only so many hours a pilot can even fly. So like, even if you bought a private plane and you had private pilot, there's only so many hours that they can be up in the air and fly. Without, they have to take a break. It's a law. I knew this. I know this because I learned it last time in Olympia. I had to get a flight out. I'm like, oh my God. And Monday, everything was closed on Tuesday airports. And they got me a crew, but they're like, well, we're not going to be able to fly you directly to Vegas. You're going to have to stop in Dallas because their time is going to be over at that point, and they're not going to be able to fly those other hours. So they do know how much time they're going to be up there or flying, and they can adapt around that for sure. 1,000,000%.
Keep the nutrition on point. Keep that nutrition on
thing.
point. Yeah.
Mike, what would you advise someone who's 36 and starting to see the strength and health drop and is scared that he would be prone to injuries as he grows older? Please advise. 36?
No, 36. You're still 4 years away from your man strength. There's no reason at 36 that you should be dropping. So I'd do the blood work.
Blood work for sure.
Yeah. Blood work. What's going on? Remove some of those friends around you.
Yeah.
That you're having this. There's no reason a 36-year-old. Brady paid till he was what, 44?
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, no, you're 36. 36 is a pup, kid. And in today's day and age, 36 is a pup. So first off, I love that you're here today. Thank you. Get your blood work done. Talk to Titan Medical. Let's start changing you, because in 4 years you should be a completely savage. At 40, be better than you were at 20. So I'm glad you sent us this message today. But you're on the phone.
Strength, okay. Your strength starts dropping. You can't put on lean muscle. This is a red flag to go get blood work, right? When you say your health dropped, how has your health dropped? What have you seen in your health that's dropped? Are you getting sicker more frequently, or did you go get blood done and you're like, oh, My liver's messed up. My kidney's messed up. How does the health drop? I mean, inquiring minds want to know, because at that point, like,
give us a follow up on this, would you?
Yeah, for sure.
Elijah, I don't know. Yeah, give us a follow up on this, because at 36, is the job weighing you down, the relationship, your friends? There might be some things that you're thinking, just the age aspect of this. Trust me, if you were around some of my friends at 50, you'd be like, shit.
Right?
These guys are savages.
For sure.
And for anybody here, you like or don't like, I think Trump is closing in on 80, and that boy doesn't sleep, and he's just a freak.
Dude. I mean, he is insane. The energy that guy has at 78 years old. And of course, somebody told me, like, well, he's probably got all the best stuff. Dude, I know people that got all the best stuff, and they still ain't like that. And they're not 78 years old.
Or if he does got the best stuff, Titan Medical has the best stuff. You can be just that.
You know, it goes.
But at 36, you can be just that. I don't want nobody here. If you guys are here and you're talking to us and you're listening to this, I don't want any 30 or 40-year-old to say that I am done and I'm declining. You're not. You're not in your 30s and 40s. You're not declining.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything that helps with gout? Yeah, actually we do. I mean, these are different things that you want to take inflammation and stuff out. Obviously, listen, with gout, this could be a diet issue too as well, right? That usually flares up gout. And gout is not something that's nice. I know people that get gout, and it's definitely painful, definitely a problem. But this is something that, one, like glutathione would possibly be a really, really good one. Anything that's going to take inflammation out of the body is going to be good, especially with gout. B vitamins like Titan Complete is a good one to add in there. But those are the two that I'd recommend. I'd recommend Triimmune or glutathione by itself, or then I would recommend, alongside Titan Complete. Those are two things that I think would be really good. But diet is probably where your problem is and where it lies. Testosterone can be a helpful thing too as well if it's low.
Nice, Johnny. Couple more.
I see one guy said something about a stomach and Hercules potion. His name was Bear.
Oh, yeah, about the, where did that go? This one right here.
Bear said, get off the pre-workout powder and get on Hercules potion. My stomach feels way better. This was another problem with people where they're taking like different things like pre-workout powders. They want to get the energy, they want to get the pump, and they take these powders, and then their stomach just blows up on them. Or they have cramps, or they have to go to the bathroom. This is where Hercules potion can really thrive. We have none of these bad things that are going into your stomach.
I wonder how a Hercules potion would deal with Mona. Yeah. Because
I would love to see Mona shooting her guns.
She can't. Jeez.
She'd be like, "Pow! Oh my god, dude."
Hey, did you ever shoot it? Nothing.
We got Trimix for that if you want to.
Oh, highly recommend. Don't do PT 141. Holy sheesh.
That's some good stuff.
Holy moly, man. I wrecked my weekend. Oh. So I had this 32-year-old kid, and he's a volunteer for all single mothers right now, I guess is the best way to say it. And I said, talk to Titan Medical and get some PT 141. And then I explained my weekend. And yeah, wow. That shuts you down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can you explain what PT 141 is?
Sure, absolutely. So PT 141 is an FDA-approved libido enhancer, true libido enhancer, not blood flow, not just blood flow, but actually working on the nervous system to create the drive effect. You can get an erection with Cialis or Viagra, sildenafil or tadalafil, but you don't get the drive that you get from PT 141. So it creates drive, like you want to go at it. And it also creates that blood flow for the erections. So at that point, or for a female, because it was originally made for females. It was originally made for hyposexual desire disorder, HSDD. But at that point, it works the exact same thing on a guy. So girls, they get real hyped up and they get ready to go and they get that blood flowing down there to the extremities too as well. And it creates a great time. It creates a great time for the person that's taking it, or if the couple wants to take it together and enjoy it both, then it really shines.
Yeah,
And
just don't do it on a day you got to get some work done or you got to go out or anything, because you're an absolute savage.
That's right.
So if Bobo
That's right.
is still on here, Bobo, give a call over to Titan Medical. Mostly if you're still in, where is he? Texas? Yeah.
Oh.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Ooh.
But yeah, anybody here, wow. It's the first time I ever, and just like, aggression was great. Yeah. It's like, wow. Holy cow.
How to get back into training after hernia surgery. I'm scared of re-injuring myself. Well, Carl, I've had 2 hernia surgeries. I've had a bilingual, so on both sides, and I had mesh put in. That was about 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I had mesh put in both sides. Didn't have any problems for years. I think it was 2 years ago now. I don't know how I did it, because the first time I know how I did it. I was literally trying to strain to urinate and it busted through. I felt the pain. I know how it happened. The second time 2 years ago, an umbilical hernia happened. I don't know how that one happened, to be honest with you. I don't know if it was lifting or not. I never felt no pain. I never had no issue. Like the bilingual one, I would have pain. Like if I moved my legs and stuff like that, like before I got it fixed, I'd have some serious pain. But the umbilical one, I really didn't have any pain. With this, what's going to happen is when they fix it, they're either going to use your tissue or they're going to use that mesh. They're going to tell you not to live for like 6 to 12 weeks. The best thing you could possibly do is, one, you're going to start building your core, but how do you recover from this the fastest? And that's where, like, I made a video where I use IGF-1, BBC, TB500, injecting nearest closest to the belly button to try to heal it the fastest I possibly could. And once you build up your core after that, you're usually not going to have any problems. Now, if you overstrain, obviously, listen, you could poke through different sides of your stomach too. So your lining could be punctured at different levels too. So I wouldn't really worry about it and focus on it, but I would take it, slow and steady. When you get back in there, start building things back up and become stronger like that. Like that's what I did.
Here's a great one.
What's up, Mike? Working a hard labor job 5 days a week, and I train 5 days a week. I recently strained my forearm. How many days should I train to prevent injury? Is there a specific program I should do if I work a hard labor job? Recovery is going to be one, but at this point, like forearms, usually BPC, TB500, usually you'll have some good, recovery, fast recovery from that. And building those areas up too as well, building your forearms. That's the other thing. Like usually, people get golf elbow, tennis elbow, and like tennis elbow, and that's right here on the forearm. I don't know if you guys can see me. Right here. Usually get a strain. So when you're doing like pull down or tricep pull downs or anything like that, or even sitting your arm on something, you'll start getting pain in here. And a lot of people are like, man, that like it basically takes me out. I can't do anything with the arm when I'm trying to, do some basically like some tricep pull downs, or I'm trying to do some curls. I still get pain here. And then people usually put like one of the straps on the area. And the whole point is this: the strap will, yes, make it feel a little bit better, but what it does is it restricts the blood flow to the area too as well. So you don't want to have the strap on the whole time. Now, the best way to do this, like I said, inject BBC TB500 in here. But if you want to try to get past that and not ever have it happen again, it usually comes from your grip. Strengthen your grip, and you usually won't have any problems. Usually what happens is people, they don't have a strong enough grip, or they start overusing their wrists on the movement because they're trying to get more in, and that's usually what happens.
It's a tough job. I fully understand that. 5 days a week. I would do power bodybuilding. That way you're just focusing on your strength, getting your body as strong as possible. And it's volume where it's necessary, where it's not too much volume that you're just getting mileage on the body. So that's what I recommend. And then Johnny killed it. BPC, TB 500, maybe something to get your growth hormone working really well.
That's another one.
And just continue to be smart with training. Unfortunately, things happen. And the best way to do is just best you can bulletproof the body to minimize future. Great question, though.
Yeah. This is a good question, guys. All right. This is a really, really good one. So listen up. Get this one for sure. Can I combine green tea and Yohan bean tablets with the ECA stack? I just received my order from Titan, but worried about combining supplements. Great question, Leroy. Now, what I would tell you is this. Take the ECA stack by itself. See how you feel. If you want to add in one of these things on top of it after you've already taken it one day, that might be something you could do. I would do the green tea. If that's not getting you going and that's not where you want to be, you could possibly combine the Yohan bean tablets in there. Now, what I'm going to put out there for you, Leroy, is next time you order the ECA stack, if you have tried this protocol where you've started just with the ECA and you're like, well, that didn't do it. I need a little bit more. And then you've combined the Yohan bean and you're like, that's the ticket. Next time you order, there's an ECA stack with Yohan bean in it that we already have. It's our ECA Ultra. We don't promote it to patients right away because we don't want them getting overstimulated. But if they've tried the low dose or the high dose and they're like, I need a little bit more, then we offer them the ECA Ultra. So that would be the ticket to go to if this works for you. And I don't know how much Yohan bean is in the tablet. I would say 5 milligrams underneath, not going crazy. A little bit goes a long way, especially with stimulants. And you want to take the least possible amount and get the best possible effect. So doing a little bit, I'm telling you, will add a tremendous amount of energy and help you as far as the stimulation goes. So that's what I would say to do. That's what we would tell our patients to do. Because patients are like, I drink a lot of coffee and this and that. I'm like, well, listen, try the ECAs without any stimulants, without any other. See how you feel first. Because if you start adding a whole bunch of stimulants on there, you might not feel good. If you're overstimulated, that's not a good feeling. Anybody that's been overstimulated knows. Heart's beat down your chest, feel nauseous, you're shaky, like you're clammy. Like this is not a good feeling. That's not the feeling you should feel when you're on ECAs or you're stimulated. A stimulated person should feel great. They should feel euphoric energy, ready to go, but not, what am I doing here? Like you do not want to be like that. That is the opposite of what you want to be. You want to be in control of what you're doing. You want to have good energy. You want to have that stimulation, but you don't want to be overstimulated. You don't want your heart beating out of your chest. You don't want to be like a ping pong ball in your head going back and forth. So that's what I would do.
Johnny, Jeff, will you pull up the video and the...
10% off all muscle building therapies this week. Hexarelin, Tesserelin, MK, IGF-1, Hercules Potion. I mean, this is where people are really they're scoring, especially on Tesserelin when they're getting 10% off. I've got people ordering multiple months of that and getting a hell of discounts. So right now, if you want to build lean mass, if you want to increase strength and size, then these muscle building therapies are going to be the solution for you. And you're going to get 10% off, which we've never done on any of the muscle building therapies. So I'm super excited about this. And I have a lot of people taking advantage of this. So you want to get ready for spring break. You want to get ready for summer. Now is the time to do it. Don't wait till those times come. I mean, spring break's like 2 weeks away. So at that point, you might not make it there. But I'll tell you what, by summer, you got 3 months to go. 90 days. You get on Mike's training program. You get on Titan's regiment. Jesus. And we get you success. We get you to where you want to go. You get to take your shirt off. Wow. If you never got, I made a video about this today. I'm like, dad bods, all you do is look down at your belly. You can't see anything else. Who wants to be like that? Can't take your shirt off. You're
nobody
embarrassed.
There's nobody
right?
here that wants to be that.
Nobody wants to be that. If you say you want to be that, you're lying to yourself. That's not true. You want to be able to look down and at least see, hey, listen, I got something down there, not my stomach only, you know? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, at the beach and by the pool, like you want to take your shirt off. You want to be that guy, like, hey, listen, I want to take my shirt off, be confident. You don't got to be diced out of your mind or jacked out of your mind, but you want to be confident. Hey, listen, I'm going to take my shirt off and nobody's going to be calling me a fat whale on the beach, right? Or by the pool, you got some fine looking ladies around there. Even if you're married or you got a girlfriend or whatever it is, you like to say, hey, look, I'm a catch. Look at baby, I'm a catch. Look at me. That's how you want to be. So this is where I tell everybody, I'm like, listen, stop playing around. You got enough time to make a dent into your transformation, your Titan transformation. And I wholeheartedly hope you guys do take advantage of these deals, because I don't have these deals too often. So I want you guys to be your best, and that's what it's all about.
And I hope you guys get in most crazy shape at least once in your life. I forget who Marcus Aurelius said it or somebody. It's disappointing that you never get to fully appreciate what you're capable of with a physique and your strength. So for everybody out there, jump on it. Give Titan Medical. I know there's some calls today. The 36-year-old, the man that's 50 now that was dieting too hard. Now he's coming around the other side. Give some calls over there. Make sure your blood work is okay. And let's rock and roll. And then take opportunity. Johnny's got a sale. Get over there. Make this thing happen.
Do it for yourself for sure.
That's it. Guys, we're out of here. I would love to be back on, though. I know that you said Jimmy is coming down on Thursday. If there's a chance,
I'm down
on there for 20 minutes just for me to ask questions to this guy.
Let's go.
Be walking on stage at 60 years old, a phenomenon, a guy that I've known for over 30 years. So this would be a good one for you guys to see somebody that's at that stage of life.
Seriously.
And again, he's not going to look good. He's not going to be like, hey, good job. This guy's going to get on the biggest stage for masters in the world. And I guarantee he's going to look like an absolute superhero. So take advantage of this. I'll set this up for Thursday, see if we can't get Jimmy and John back on here. All right, guys?
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Johnny.
I appreciate you, Mike. I'll talk to you later, guys.
Good work.
Have a good one.
Thursday. This will be great because Jimmy's just, first of all, Jimmy's just a good guy. And side note, as he's getting ready for this, there's some things going on in his life. So it's somebody that's, dealing with some stuff, but still willing to put in the time that it takes to do this. And he runs his own business. So again, I think this is a catch for everybody just to tune in on Thursday and ask some questions to somebody that's going to be doing that. I know that we have some guest posing appearances in May. So I am slicing and dicing. I know we had questions about the 30-day blitz. I'm not doing the 30-day blitz at this stage. I'm doing just the proper nutrition in a deficit.
And that guy got the blitz.
He did. Holy shnikes, man. His name again was... All right, so for the gentleman that did sign up for the Blitz, please stay in touch with us. Make sure that you get in the Titan Crew. A Titan Crew is a private group, and it's free to everybody that subscribes to the training or nutrition. And what we do in there, and we got to get on there this week too, is just little check-ins there, little go over the plans. It's a good thing just to mentally check you and hold you accountable for getting in the best shape of your life. And again, going way back to one of the questions a gentleman asked, he says, what in life was the most demanding for you to stay on point and do? And again, I think demanding is a word that need to be replaced with necessary. Demanding is to me, it seems like it's forcing you to do something that you may not want to do, compared to necessary is these are things I would like to accomplish. I would like to get my training in, stay on point with nutrition, get my workouts, family, life, business. Necessary. I need to do those things to make sure that I'm enjoying this life. Peace.